Welcome back to An Athlete's Journey. I'm your host, Travis Reed. Today I got a special guest. Somebody who's part of the younger generation. You know, I'm old school to him. You know what I'm saying? But is one of those, California great hoopers that we have in the tradition of California. Wanted to hear about his journey. Definitely was interested, when I heard I can get him. I was like, man, oh yeah, I'd love to get him on the show. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate him coming on the show and blessing us with his story. Please introduce yourself to the people.
What's going on, man? First of all, appreciate you having me, no doubt. My name is Evan Burns, from Los Angeles, California. Like you said, I grew up hooping on the West Coast, California, definitely. Went to Fairfax High School. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Spent my little time before before high school in junior high at Palms. It's basically where that's where I met all the hoopers, like the real LA hoopers. Because before that, it was park leagues and stuff like that. But yeah, man, started meeting up with all the young hoopers at probably about 12. I want to say 12 years old is when I started. I was in a little Nike league up at Dorsey.
Okay,
And that was
okay.
my
No.
first taste of
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
was my
yeah.
first real taste of LA hoop. So
I
yeah,
got you.
now
I got you. Now you hooked,
grew up through
but
the system. Yeah, yes,
well,
sir.
we're gonna start from like I said, the beginning. Like when you was at LA Dorsey when he was hooping,
Mm.
like when I started playing AAU basketball, when I was hooping, it was at Victoria Park, you know.
Oh, okay, damn.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. So like anybody from back then, anybody who knows, like back then especially, you wasn't really a hooper unless you played up there. Like I said, that's when I first saw Shea Cotton, Baron Davis, Paul
Mm.
Pierce, Corey Benjamin, Toby Bailey, Moose Bailey, Charles Abandon. I mean, I can't remember.
Mhm.
Can't remember. I saw like all California royalty, Jock Vaughn, like, and it just and
Wow.
just in my bracket, it was Barron, Jason and Jaron Collins, Jeff Trepanier, Mike
Uh,
McDonald, Kenny Bruner, Shea Cotton. We was all in this big class
yeah,
together.
that was the bubble. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was the
that was the
bubble for
bubble.
sure.
So
Uh-huh.
so like I went for my dad's park and rec team, like my Boys and Girls Club team. We played Shea Cotton the first game, got smashed by like 60. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh, okay, it's levels of this. Okay. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
eye
yeah.
opening. It's
Yeah,
definitely eye
yeah,
opening.
yeah. So
This ain't the rec leagues no more.
nah, it ain't the wreck no more. You know what I'm saying? I ended up leaving my dad's team and going to ARC with Jason and Jaron Collins for a couple of
Uh,
years. You know what I'm
yeah, I
saying?
see.
So
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So we,
Okay.
we played. We went to the nationals. Went to like the national championship game. Lost when I was seventh grade, and then placed like fourth. My eighth going from eighth grade going into my ninth grade years. But
Okay. I
enough
got you.
about enough about my old journey. You know what I'm saying? It's about yours. How did your basketball journey start?
I mean, this. I feel like it's a similar story. Like you said, I played rec ball early, and I remember the first team I played on was just kind of like my friend was kind of like, "Yo, come play on the team." You know what I mean? We'll pay for you and this and that. You know what I'm saying? So I get there and I'm used to hooping at elementary school. You know what I mean? So I get there and I'm running through these kids. You know what I mean? And I hate to be that guy, but there was some little white kids. You know what I'm saying? So it was like that's who I was going to school with and stuff. So I was used to just dominating, having fun. You know what I mean?
Right,
And
right, 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 right.
so from there, I remember my mom actually took me up to one of the parks, Mar Vista Park, and I remember walking into the gym and there was people lined up watching the kids play. You know what I mean? And it was like a crowd. And when I walked in, there was a scoreboard on the wall. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to the little flip ones on the table. You know what I mean? So I was like, wait, hold up. This is like for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? So then I started playing rec ball up at Mar Vista and making the All Star team and stuff. And then once the All Star teams would hit, then we would start traveling, playing West Wilshire. You know what I mean? Playing Westwood. You know what I'm saying? Playing all those teams, and I was getting a little taste of here and there, like, oh, okay, there's some other cats that got a little bit of hype. You know what I'm saying? That are trying to do the same things on the court that I'm trying to do. So and So I had an idea that they were out there, but nobody that I was playing with was as good as me. So, like I said, I was just used to dominating, and I was always taller. You know what I mean? Like when I hit my growth spurt, I was already tall, so I was used to being bigger. You know what I'm saying? So after going from there, it was playing at, I want to say I played at the junior high level. I played it for Palms, and then cats that were opening the gym for our teams to play each other, different junior highs to play each other, we're starting to be like, yo, I know another team, I know this AAU team, I know this coach, I know whatever. So I started kind of seeing what was around, and I ended up playing for Hoop Masters, which I don't think they turned really into anything, but their focus was fundamentals. So like that was the first time I ever had gone to a practice that was like 2 hours and 15 minutes, where the first half was fundamental basketball, and then it was strategic. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm young, and I was like, damn, like this is crazy. I don't know if I want to do this. This is nuts. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a real system. I wasn't just going to
Right.
practice playing 5-on-1. You know what I'm saying?
No,
So
of course.
yeah, that was when I started like, okay, having to like, if I'm gonna do this, I gotta do this. You know, I gotta hoop. So I remember going there, being young, learning how to use my left hand, you know what I'm saying? Learning my basically my free throw rhythm, you know what I'm saying? Just stuff, just IQ for the game, how to use pick and rolls and coming off from when I was young, running give and goes and stuff like that. And then pretty much from there, I went to the AAU circuit, you know what I'm saying? Played while I was playing for Palms, I was still, Palms, when you're playing for your school, it's 10 games. You know what I'm saying? If you're good, you're playing 13. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. So I was
Right.
playing AAU ball. Um, hadn't started traveling yet, so I was still playing within the city. And then I met my man Sam. Sam used to run the gym at Fairfax, and he watched me play in my 7th grade year. And from there, he was like hounding us. He was hounding us. You know what I'm saying? My whole family, like basically my mom's side of the family, they all went to Hamilton. They all played at Hamilton High School. You know what I mean? So I was kind of just in my mind thinking like, okay, I followed everybody else's path to junior high. I'm probably going to go to Hamilton. Went there, actually had some bad experiences with the coach when I was young. So I was like, okay, I'm not messing with this. Let me hear what this dude from Fairfax is talking about. So this
Okay.
man Sam, man, used to pick me up from summer school, take me up, and I was playing for Fairfax, the spring league. I was playing for them when I was in 8th grade. You know what I mean?
Ah,
So I got an early
yeah.
little jump into it. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
got to I got to
they
sneak
was
my foot
grooming
in
you.
there.
They was grooming you.
Oh, 100%, 100%. So I ultimately made the decision to go to Fairfax, and that was home, man. That was from the jump. Like most of my AAU basketball was with cats that played for Fairfax. They ended up actually making an AAU squad for me and my boys that were playing for Fairfax. That Shaq sponsored. It was called the Dunk Team. Crazy highlights, and I'm sure Craig Smith was on that team, and that was my man's my best friend. You know what I'm saying? Growing up playing with him, he ended up going to the league and stuff. So we was right there. We was battling the whole time. So I was like developing these skills with cats just from playing on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? Not from practicing or anything like that. Just playing every day consistently, only wanting to play basketball and being better than the good cats that I was already playing with. You know what I mean? So that just kind of got me to wanting to play better. And then I started going up to UCLA and playing against y'all. You know what I'm saying? Waiting, waiting
Right.
4 games down. You know what I'm saying? 4 games down. There was a if the men's gym wasn't popping, or if I couldn't get any sponsors to get into I want to say it was the Wooden Center at
Yeah,
the time.
the wooden center.
Yeah, you'd have to get spot. It was a whole like drama that we were too young and didn't have to get in. But then
Yep.
there was some courts up by the dorms that were outside. And you walked up that
Yeah.
big hill, and
Yep.
they used to get funky out there. And I remember, man, we used to go out there wait in the cold for 7 games and then finally get on, you know what I'm saying? Like, and there was some cat. I remember Matt being out there a few times. There was definitely some cats that caught an eye, you know what I mean? So they started inviting me up to the summertime runs up in the men's gym with Rico and all that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to say this
Yep.
was right before Rico took over it too. Like he was a staple, but I don't think he had like took over those men's gyms runs yet. But he was inviting us up, and that's where I met BD for the first time, and all like it made me want to go to UCLA. So playing against those guys, going to Fairfax, I was low key dominating. But then it would be games against, of course, Westchester. Westchester was our big rival at the time. You know what I'm saying? They had Hassan Adams was basically my LA rival at the time, and that's my man. Shout out Sauce. You know what I'm saying? That man was a beast in high school. I didn't want to admit it at the time because I didn't think nobody was better than me, but that
Yeah,
man had
yeah.
the juice for real, for
I
real.
remember
My
I
man
remember
Cool
Hassan.
Breeze.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah,
Like
he
I
was a
remember
monster.
he was on like the Clipper like an episode or something where like they was going to a game of his, Darius
They,
Miles and
they
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
they played
yeah.
against us.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was the
They played
game, right?
against
Yeah,
us.
yeah, yeah. I remember that.
Yep, yep. I'll
Yeah.
never forget that too because I hit a jumper on the baseline and I kind of fell into the wall and Darius Miles was right there and I got up and that man was woofing. He was woofing. I was like, what? Like, come on, man. Like, oh, I need that smoke. I need that smoke.
Right. That's
But
actually
yeah,
pretty
man.
cool, man. You know,
Yeah.
did you play any other sports growing up or just basketball was 100% basketball?
Nah, I mean, not organized, you know what I'm saying? I was, of course, growing up, you play every single sport. I was a pretty good baseball player, you know what I'm saying? I played football with the homies, you know what I'm saying? Nothing crazy, but yeah, growing up, I was a pretty good baseball player, pitcher and a first baseman. Yeah, I
Okay.
definitely had some had some power behind the bat too. It was
No.
I had a
Yeah.
I had a good time with that for sure,
Okay.
for sure.
Okay. Okay. Well, obviously you had a lot of fun going to Fairfax playing with, NBA guys going against NBA guys. Is that the year that Westchester won state? Or was it you guys
I
when you guys
believe
won state?
I know they won. I want to say they won my senior year too in 2002. I'm not sure who won in 2001. I could be wrong. They might have gone back to back, but once you lose, it's like, especially at that
Yeah.
age, man, it was heartbreaking. I didn't want to see no newspapers. I didn't want to see nothing. Like I didn't want to go to school. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
no,
Like
of course,
it
of
was it
course.
was heartbreaking. So once we lost, season was over for me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
No, I got
it
you.
was it
I
was
got
time
you.
to start going to hoop outside of school.
All right. So what would you say your most memorable moment in high school was?
In high school,
Yeah.
man, uh, that's rough because man, I had a bunch. I actually went to a because during the summertime I did all the Nike camps, and I only went to Adidas once, but I was a Nike guy, so I did all the Nike camps and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I did the NBPA camp going into my senior year, and they do all your tests, they do your vertical, they do your speed. You know what I'm saying? Like they run all your tests, and while we were waiting doing the vertical jump, we were kind of off on the side doing all kind of dunks and stuff. And I right now, like I know Hassan was there, but right now on the top of my head, it was Sebastian Telfair and oh damn, I can't remember the other kid's name, but we were all dunking on the side, waiting our turns. You know what I'm saying? We're young cats, we're getting up, we're athletic, we're a little bit hype, all trying to outdo each other. And Sebastian comes up and he's like, "Yo, I'm gonna just toss it up and go get it." And I'm like, "All right." So I go, I turn at half court. I come and I basically take off on the free throw line, bro. He throws the ball straight up. He's at the elbow. Throws the ball straight up in the air. I grab it with two hands. I smash it and I come underneath the basket and the backboard shatters, breaks. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Everybody in the gym kind of goes quiet and then everybody starts to buzz. You know what I'm saying? So later on that night, we had Sweet Pea, the street ball legend, Sweet Pea,
Mhm.
come talk to the whole group. You know what I'm saying? Rashad McCants, Shotty, my guy. He's
Mhm.
he raises his hand in the back of the group and he's like, "Excuse me, man, have you ever seen anybody break a backboard from from the free throw line?" And he's like, "What? Nah, that doesn't sound like something that really even goes down." My man said, "Well, it happened today." From him right there, you know what I'm saying? And they all looked at me and they were all going crazy. That's probably one of my better memories from going into growing up playing ball in high
Okay.
school. But
Okay.
that's
Okay.
just one of the few. Because like I said, those games up at UCLA, like I mean, you already know those men gyms runs were just it was nothing like them. You know what I'm saying? And I did some pretty
Mhm.
crazy stuff, like you know what I'm saying, hooping with them cats.
No, of course, man. I
You know,
get it.
being
No, no, trust me, man. Like the first time I went up there, I was a senior in high school. I had just committed. This is like after the season was over. I went up there to hoop just to see how it was,
yeah,
just to see,
yeah,
because now he's like, welcome to the family now. Now you UCLA boy.
yeah, yeah.
This is your privilege, going to watch Magic because Magic was still hooping then.
Yeah,
And
he was
I
running the
remember,
poly. He was running the poly runs. If you could
yeah.
get in there, he was doing those poly runs,
Oh
man.
no,
He
yeah,
was lucky enough.
yeah. Magic had. I remember one day, Magic was like, because he would pick his team to make sure his team never lost, and like
100%.
he had to like the pickup dream team. I remember it was himself at the point. Bear was on his team. Shaq, Michael Finley, and Jim Jackson, and so all of them was on the same team,
Oh my goodness.
and they must have ran off like 10 straight. And
A
whenever they
hundred, a
would
hundred
get,
percent.
yeah, whenever they were, yeah, they won. They won every game. They didn't lose that day. And
Well,
whenever
you already
like,
know Magic was notorious for calling those
oh
fouls
no, he gonna
for
call it, and
game
like,
point too.
and who gonna he's Magic. What you gonna say? You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
you might
exactly.
argue he's Magic. Come on. So
You
like
taking this
whenever
L.
like no, so whenever Magic, like whenever Shaq, like whenever like the game would get close with any other team, he was like, Shaq, get out the way, everybody. Shaq will post up,
That's
do
crazy.
his elbow thing in the face, dunk.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody calling no
Blue
charges and
chips.
no pickup. Yeah, yeah. And
Yep.
so like, oh, okay, that's like that's how it always was. I remember that. And I was
Yeah.
like, because that's when Jim Jackson and Michael Finley was both averaging 20 in the league with Dallas.
All stars.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
star. Yeah.
Like I said,
Oh
he had
yeah.
yes,
Damn. That Dallas
yeah,
squad.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Man, they
And
did.
he had, like I said, Shaq, and he had Barron. This is when Barron was out of high school, just dominating. So, um, but yeah, and so obviously, but let's get back to you. You're one of the top players in the country. Go to Nike camp. I went to Nike camp too, by the way, so I know. Like
Yep.
ours
Already.
in Indianapolis, we had like top
Yeah.
150.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that
yeah.
complex. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
That
that big old
jail.
thing. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Big old
Yeah.
spot. We didn't
Yep.
leave. We didn't leave the complex.
Yep. Yep.
Who was there my senior year? Barron was there. Elton Brand, Ron Artest, Shea Cotton, Brendan Haywood, Tony Bland, Brandon
Yep.
Granville.
Tony
Um,
Bland, that's my guy.
yeah, yeah. So we was all like California had like 30 of us from Cali. Jeff
Yeah,
Chapenge, like we had a bunch of dudes, but like it was the dude on my team, like every team basically had an NBA guy on it. I had
yeah,
Larry,
for
I
sure.
had I had Larry Hughes as my point guard. He was my starting point
Oh,
guard.
okay, okay.
So but yeah, like it was insane, you know what I'm saying? Marcus Pfizer, a bunch of dudes. And so I know about that
Yeah.
Nike camp thing. So you're one of the top players in the country. Obviously, you go to a top school in Fairfax. What was your recruitment process like in high school going to college?
I mean, on my end, it wasn't very crazy because I already had an idea where I wanted to go. My mom had gone to UCLA, so in my mind, to keep it real, I was going to sign with UCLA. Of course, I told people, I told papers and stuff that Duke. I said I want to say Duke, North Carolina, Arizona, UCLA, and San Diego State were my top five. And people used to go crazy like San Diego State. Like, what the hell? Like, what? How you go from Duke to San Diego State? And I had ties. I had ties with one of the coaches up there that knew my mom's growing up. You know what I'm saying? So I had no problem. Coach Fisher was over there, and we used to play out there in the summertime. You know what I'm saying? We used to go to San Diego State tournaments and play in their high school tournament. And he used to show us mad love. Me and my man Craig, he used to show us mad love. So I was cool with them. So I put them in my top five. So the recruiting process was pretty nuts, man. Coming to school, I'm sure you know, coming to school and having boxes of letters like that you know you're not gonna look at, but literally I'm talking about those post office boxes. I used to have to come and check in with coach and right before school, before I go to class and stuff, and he would show me everything that came from the night before, whatever the case. Like they used to send shoes, bro. Like between us and the whole, you know what I'm saying, everybody that's watching, they used to send keys, bro. They used to send car keys, park cars in the parking lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, here you go for the weekend and stuff like it was pretty crazy, man. But
That's
I always
crazy.
narrowed it down. So of course I used that stuff. Don't get me wrong, you know what I'm saying? I had fun with what was being offered, but I had already known, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then once I did the McDonald's game, they were saying like UCLA commit, UCLA commit, UCLA commit. So I was like, oh well, I guess I'm committed to UCLA. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
that
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
much
yeah.
that's where that went. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
once high school wrapped up and stuff like that, man. You guys play for Lavin or not? Was
Yeah,
Lavin
yeah,
there? I
yeah.
want to say he was
Lavin
brand
was
new.
yeah,
Okay.
but Lavin had just got the he had just got the position from Harris because I was
Okay.
going I was kind of similar with you. I always wanted to go to UCLA, you know what I'm saying? Like we were the baby Bruins growing up. You know, my dad
Mm-hmm.
made us
Mm-hmm.
we knew like the pyramid of success. We knew
Yeah,
all the
man.
things that John Wooden talked about, you
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
100%.
And so like for me, like I was UCLA. Don't get me wrong, I went to I took trips to Arizona, Long Beach State,
I'm
in,
saying.
in Tennessee, you know. But I knew that, you know, I actually committed to Arizona when Harry got fired. But then Lavin called me and was like, you know, Lavin called me and was like, you know, like we still want you, you know.
Yeah.
Him and Coach Holton, you know what I'm saying? They
Yep.
were really, yeah, Coach Holton came
Mhm.
to my, you know, like last couple games in the CIF finals, you know, and state finals. And I was like, I love you, Arizona, but like, you know, UCLA is a dream. It's a dream school. You know, like it's nothing better.
That's funny too because I remember my senior year too when it came time, you know what I'm saying? All the coaches and stuff would come to practices. They would flood the gym at the games and stuff like that. And I remember I had a couple home visits, you know what I'm saying? I didn't really do a lot of trips because the teams that I narrowed it down to, I had already been there playing, you know, summertime in North Carolina, the Bob Gibbons tournaments and all that. I had been to the campuses, I met the players, you know what I'm saying? Like they were just kind of those were my recruiting trips, you know what I'm saying? So I remember I remember flooding the gym though, man. They were looking around, they were like, guys, it made my other cats on the team play good because there was so many coaches like Lou was up in there, Coach Olson was in there, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody was there, but Lavin, bro, he would show up in the suit, slick back hair. I don't
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
time he had a beautiful wife. I don't I'm you know what I'm saying, I'm not sure his situation now, but at the time he had a beautiful wife that was bad. She came up in there. He was pulling up in that Jag. You know what I'm saying? So he put on a show. Everywhere he went, he put on a show, and I was like, yeah, I dig it.
Yeah, no,
I'm gonna have to test these waters. You
I remember, man, like when he, you know, did the coach thing, he watched, you know, a movie came out was Devil's Advocate
mm.
with Al Pacino
Yeah,
and
Al Pacino, Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves. Al
Yeah,
Pacino was like super, super slick, you know what I'm saying? Like just smooth. And then like, you
yeah,
know, and then obviously when the other movie when Keanu Reeves starts slicking back his hair, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
Lavin saw that. It was, oh, you know what I'm saying? So
Man,
yeah, so
he
he
lit that
started
up
doing
for
that. Yeah,
sure.
because at Purdue he wasn't doing that. When he was coaching at Purdue, he
Yeah.
wasn't doing that. He came to California, slicked his
Yeah.
stuff back, and it was like, Lav, you know, okay,
Yeah.
Lav is good.
Yeah.
So nah,
Yeah.
so you know, obviously you were a McDonald's All-American, you know. So how was that an honor, you know, for you when you found that you was gonna be one?
Man, again, like it was like, yo, for sure. But when I was a freshman and got to Fairfax, Joe Shipp was there, and he had gotten the nomination or the recognition, whatever they do,
Yeah,
where
it's
he didn't
honorable mention.
necessarily make the
Honorable
team.
mention.
They send you
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
honorable
honorable
mention.
mention.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
he had gotten that, and I saw that my freshman year. So I was like, oh, okay, so that's a thing. You know what I'm saying? And then my 10th grade year, Jason Morissette got another honorable mention. So I was like, oh, they looking, you know what I'm saying? So they know Fairfax. So no, I don't mean to sound crazy or nothing like that, but I kind of in my mind was ready for it. I was ready for them to be like, yo, okay, the hype was there, you know what I'm saying? I was playing, like I said, all over the country, like growing up in high school. So I was kind of like the guys that I was playing with, you know what I'm saying? It was Melo. My bubble was Melo, Amari Stoudemire, D Brown, Hassan, Kalina Azabuki, uh, Andre Iguodala was another one. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Marcus Williams, Crenshaw. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. Oh
Those
no, yeah. I
those
remember Mark. Yeah, I remember Marcus. Went
yeah,
to
yeah. Bobby Jones, like all those cats. That was my bubble. You know what I'm saying? So and those were the guys that were going to be McDonald's All Americans too. So I just figured, yo, I'm in the same boat. So me, D'Angelo Collins, and Hassan got the nod. You know what I'm saying? We were the three that came out of California, and that trip, it was the 25th anniversary of it. It was the very first girls game. It was the inaugural girls game, and it was at Madison Square Garden, bro.
yeah.
It was off the chain. It was off the chain. Like I spent a lot of time with Amari Stoudemire out there. We was running buddies. You know what I'm saying? Mello was a cool ass. He was cool as hell that whole trip because he was kind of at home already. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, that whole experience was off the chain, man. I unfortunately lost one of my big brothers, and he was there to see it. So that's another thing that was close. You know what I'm saying? I'll never forget that experience for sure. That was off the rocker
Okay,
for sure.
okay, okay. So, what do you remember about your first year in college?
So, well, going into college was kind of crazy because again, like I said, I committed to UCLA.
Mhm.
I went to the freshman program, and while I was there, it was TJ Cummings
Yeah,
was like next in line, you know what I'm saying? And I was there with Andre Patterson, who was from Washington.
yeah.
He had
I know
committed
Andre.
the year before.
Yeah, yeah. He
Yeah,
was.
so
Yeah,
he
yeah,
committed the
yeah.
year before. So everybody was kind of like, yo, those three are about to, you know, saying do it up. So I get there and I do the summer program, and I'm looking to hoop every day. Like I'm on campus. Like I'm there's this is where I come to hoop. Like, you know what I'm saying? So now I'm on campus. I expect to hoop every day. If I'm not hooping in the men's gym, I'm hooping in the gym or in poly. You know what I'm saying? Like I expect to hoop every day. And that was like my mindset going into it, bro. It was so hard to find a place to hoop at UCLA, and especially at the time being who I was like, it was ridiculous, man. And I started hanging out with TJ Cummings a lot, you know what I'm saying? Because he was finding the spots to go hoop, you know what I'm saying? And so I remember one time went up just to go see what's up, talk to Lab, you know what I'm saying, see what's up with everybody. And I got up there, bro. They made me put my name on the list and told me they would call me when I could come see him. I was like, wait,
Oh
what?
wow.
Like, yeah. I was like, wait, this is not the Lab, and this is not what y'all was telling me, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm,
But
hmm.
I did connect with Joe Saya, Coach Saya,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
shooting coach over there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
man. He spent a lot of time just working with me because, like I
Yeah.
said, I was thirsty looking for somewhere to hoop, and he was always around. So we would do lots of drills, but I wasn't hooping. I was just doing drills. So it got boring. You know what I'm saying? And to keep it real, I started, you know what I'm saying, leaving, not really doing the classes and stuff like that. I lost interest, and I was talking to Marvin Menzies. Marvin Menzies was coaching. He was the assistant coach over at San Diego State, and he was the connection I was talking about earlier with San Diego State. He was why they were on my top five. So I'm telling him like, man, I'm not feeling the culture over here. Like I wasn't digging it. Like I just wasn't feeling it. And literally that night, he had me out of UCLA and enrolled into San Diego State. And the next morning, he came out and picked me up at 12 o'clock at night. They basically smuggled me from UCLA to San Diego State. And I was enrolled at school at San Diego State the next day. So I started doing my classes. NCAA trips out about it. You know what I mean? So they start trying to dig up shit from, I'm sorry, my bad.
No,
They
no,
start trying to dig up.
but it's a grown man show. It's all good.
Okay. But they start trying to dig up stuff on me and prolong the process of me getting in to San Diego State and being eligible. So I missed like 3 or 4 of the non-conference games, you know what I'm saying, leading into the season. I know they didn't matter, but, you know, I wanted to get out there and dunk on these cats, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I was itching, you know what I'm saying? So finally I got the nod, and I remember I was walking to the athletic center, and I got the phone call that I was eligible. I was going to be able to play. I can fully practice and do all that. And I was losing my mind, and I'm literally walking to the gym. And the very next phone call is my sister calling me, telling that my bro just passed away. Like literally, this is the back to back. So, and then we had a game, like I want to say like 2 days later. So I couldn't even go back to LA to see my man. We actually played Arizona 2 days later. And that was I was, you know what I'm saying, I was a little wrecked about that. And but my first game, of course, being against Arizona at the time, Walton, it was Walton's senior year.
Yeah, they was number 1 in the country. I remember.
They was number 1 in the country. Channing Frye, I want to say, was on that.
Yeah, Jelani Gardner. It was not Jelani. It was Jason Gardner.
Gardner, yeah, man.
Lou Gilbert Arenas, Lauren Woods.
They just left. This is 2002, so it was Walton's senior year. And Hassan had signed with Arizona, so it was fitting them. Of course, my first game was against my LA rival growing up, but they ended up winning because they were, like you said, they were playing number 1 or 2 in the country or something at the time, and they're playing San Diego State. We were good for what we were, but we weren't at that level yet. You know what I'm saying? But my very first, they subbed me in, you know, because I didn't start until like the 3rd or 4th game until I started into the rotation. It took me a second to get into the starting lineup, but they put me in and I catch a lob from half court. My very first points in college is against the number 2 team in the country, and I catch a lob on basically, and they put it on Sports Center too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm amped up, I'm hyped. You know what I mean? And they started calling me at the school. They started calling me all kind of like, you know, they praising me. You know what I'm saying? They giving me all kind of names in the paper and stuff like that. So I started to fit in, and then of course I had my breakout game, and then from there it was a wrap. Like once I figured it out, it was a wrap. I started being on the scouting list, on the scouting report for sure.
No, sure. I got you. So, how many years did you play at San Diego State?
I only got to play 1. I played 1. After that first season, is when I had my first ACL tear. Blew my knee out, and it was crazy, man, because that day too, we went to go hoop. It took forever for everybody to meet up to go hoop. You know what I mean? And I was frustrated. Like, come on, y'all! Like, we trying to get it in. We get to the gym. We 3 games down. I gotta wait. I'm in there like, yo, like what? Come on, y'all are making me 3 games down, whatever. So we finally get on the court. And on the opposite end, they shoot a long 3. It's a long rebound. I grab it, you know, I coast to coast, and I dunk, and I come down, and like my leg just goes dead. It's just hot, like it's like a hot pressure that I just feel through my leg, and I can't walk on it. So I'm like, just thinking that it's a sprain or whatever, like, man, this is weird. Like the feeling will come back in a minute. I sit down on my butt and I push myself to the wall, and I'm looking at my knee is just literally getting bigger and bigger, blowing up like a balloon, you know what I'm saying? So I knew something was wrong after that. And that was basically that was a wrap for my time at San Diego State, because once I got my surgery and all that, they were like, man, we just need to make the jump. We just need to try to make the jump. And it's probably one of the decisions I regret, because they were definitely pushing me. And after that, like pretty much all of my like professional basketball, I was hurt. I was hurt. I was trying to either come back for something, or I was in the middle of rehabbing while trying to make a team. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I had to get special, like I had to get special care essentially. Like I needed
Right.
to have to have trainers and stuff working overtime just for me. You know what I'm saying? So, and at that time, it was right before all this, you know, fancy stuff that they have available to the players now. Because I know if my training room looked like the training rooms that I see now, it would have been I would have been I'd have been good. Not I'm not putting down San Diego State's training facility because it was nice. Don't get me wrong. Theirs was nice, but it's not what it is now. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
no,
Like
no. Hey, both UCLA and even because I went to Long Beach, I graduated from Long Beach State. So even Long Beach State's
mm-hmm.
is like PlayStation 5s and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, dude. Like
Yeah,
none of this
man.
was in here when I
Yeah.
was here. You know what I'm saying? This is crazy.
Man, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's
So
and how normal it is. Like,
yeah, like I was shocked, but like I said, it's all good. So after you get hurt at San Diego State, they're pushing you to go
mm-hmm.
pro, right? I know how that
Yeah.
is. Like, well, I don't know. Like, I played years, but like they push you to go pro. What was your, I guess that, you were rehabbing, but what was your like NBA, pre-NBA draft kind of process like?
I mean, honestly, it was miserable. Because like I said, at the time I was going through coming back, training, rehabbing, and doing all that stuff, and uncomfortable nights and taking pills, you know what I'm saying, for the pain that make you sleep crazy and wake up groggy, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I had no other choice. I had to take those joints to keep the swelling down, and they worked, you know what I mean? So I had to take those, and I was sent on my trips. I was sent on my visits. I went I tried out for Utah. Um, at the time, Seattle was a squad that's, you know,
Mm-hmm.
showing my age. But Utah,
Yeah.
Seattle, San Antonio, Atlanta, um, and I want to say, the Clippers and the Lakers. You know what I mean? But luckily, the Clippers and the Lakers were at home, so I was able to do well in those. You know what I'm saying? Because I had my resources. But man, when I went from Seattle to Atlanta, my flight got delayed because of the rain. And then when I got to Atlanta, it rained everything in for 2 days. So I was in Atlanta for like a week before I even worked out. You know what I mean? And they just had me in the hotel room. And the hotel room was basically connected to the arena. So it was like walking to go get stuff. I'm looking at the arena like dying to hoop, watching my knees swell up. I'm there by myself, so I'm using the hotel ice, you know what I'm saying? So
Right, right,
like
right, right, right.
and again, like I'm grateful for it, but at the time I was in pain. I was miserable trying to perform, you know what I'm saying? And then they make you take these tests, like not necessarily IQ tests, but character tests that are
Mm.
extreme. They're like 300 questions. You know what I'm saying? So they put you in a room with this paper, this stack of paper that's that big, a pen, and you're just answering questions. You're reading questions and answering questions, reading questions and answering questions. And then they start to like repeat themselves. So it's literally like they're testing you in so many ways, like mentally, they test you physically, they make like it is crazy. So doing all that by myself with the traveling and all that, it was definitely tough. It was miserable, but again, it's something that I couldn't believe was going on at the time. Like walking into these locker rooms, changing, getting ready to go walk out through the tunnel and go work out on these floors. You know what I'm saying? Or in these training facilities, like it was incredible. It was incredible.
Mm.
But if I was able to do it again, 100% that game ready, you know what I'm saying? The ice box, you know what I'm saying? That would have been wrapped up all right under my shoulder, right under my shoulder, man. I would have, oh my God, that would have been my go-to every single day I would have lived in that thing.
No, I hear
But
you.
the experience was what it was, and it was off the chain. Not many people get to do that stuff, so I had a good time. I had a good time for
No,
sure.
no, definitely, definitely. If you like what would you say would be like the biggest lesson you learned? I know it was only for a year. We're gonna go back a little bit. What would you say the biggest lesson you learned in college? Like for the year that you did play.
As far as basketball wise, it was it was trusting the other cats, trusting my team. Those were my guys, and all that. You know what I'm saying? Those were my boys, but trusting them like as people. You know what I'm saying? Just because it
Mhm.
was I'm leaving home. I'm living with four dudes that I barely knew. I knew Tommy Johnson. I don't know if you know Tommy Johnson. Went to Crenshaw, played basketball for a minute. He went to Fairfax, so I kind of knew him. But I
Right.
went there, and now I'm like living with him. You know what I'm saying? So like, it was the whole trust factor was definitely a obstacle for sure. But once I was able to get past that, and it was the brotherhood, then that's something that helped open my game up. I could trust my guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they could trust me. So that was probably the biggest lesson was getting outside of myself and trusting the people around me.
No, I got you. I got you. So based off like your experience and obviously what you went through at UCLA and San Diego State, what would be your best advice for like the next you? You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody was in your position, uh, you know, somebody was in your position and you could tell them, they could ask you like, what do you think? You know what I'm saying? What would you tell them?
Knock that education out quick. Get whatever little degree you can because, like I said, like we talk about, I know it's cliche, but it don't last forever. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't last forever. And
Mhm.
like I'm learning now, I gotta still do some school that I gotta get to because I want to coach. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta
You
at
got
the
to have
level
a
you want to
degree.
coach at,
Yeah,
you gotta
yeah,
have a
yeah.
matching degree. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
that would be my advice to knock that education out quick. And especially nowadays, you can do it. You know what I'm saying? You can get your little education. Even if you do go play ball somewhere else in the world or whatever the case, spend that little 2.5 or 3 years getting a little paper, man. Because
No, yeah.
that'll take you a long way.
No, agreed with you on that. I definitely agree with you on that. So obviously you try for all these teams, to me, like if you're trying out for multiple teams like you did, like six, seven, eight, nine teams, whatever it was,
Yeah.
you thinking like you have a pretty good shot, opportunity to get drafted. So
Yeah.
what does your agent tell you, on draft day, and what was your draft day experience like?
So at the time I was with SFX, which is Arn Tellum's
Oh
agency.
yeah, I know
And
SFX. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, and my guy was Bob Myers. Bob Myers is
yeah.
GM
UCLA
for Golden
guy.
State.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying?
UCLA guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so he was the one that was on the phone with me. And coming home from Jersey, Jersey was the other one. New Jersey, the Nets was my last stop on the workouts. And coming home from Jersey and coming home from Utah, I felt really good, especially Utah. But Jersey made me feel like they were going to pick me up with their second round pick. And I was shady about that. Like second round, like what? What do you mean second round? But you know what I'm saying? But whatever. I felt confident about that. And I remember sitting there in the office and then like it was crazy at the time. Lawrence Frank was the head coach for that squad at the time. And for cats that play ball, if you've seen Lawrence Frank, he doesn't look like anybody that plays basketball or knows the game or anything like that. You know what I mean? So when he came out onto the court, I was out there shooting and working out and stuff, and he was kind of rebounding for me, and I was messing with him, like low key talking shit, you know what I'm saying, and messing with him and gave him a bucket and slapped him on the ass, you know what I'm saying? It was like I was talking shit, not knowing that that was Lawrence Frank. He was the head coach, you know what I'm saying? So so off top, you know what I'm saying? And once I figured that out, like in the workout, I'm thinking in my head, like, damn, is he like you know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God. But come to find out later on, he loved it. He loved the interaction that we had. You know what I'm saying? Like I treated him like he was a player type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I kind of was treating him like a ball boy. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? Like, but he enjoyed it and he told me that and he was telling me like that's the kind of feel that the organization has and stuff like that. So he was telling me that I'd be a good fit. Felt confident. Felt good as hell. Then draft night comes and I remember Arn and well, I didn't talk to Arn much, but I remember Bob telling me that they were gonna be expecting, if anything, he told me if anything, they were gonna be expecting late first round, and if it doesn't happen late first round, we'll probably have to take other steps from there. Basically is what they were telling me. You know what I mean? So, man, I didn't have any kind of viewing party, no nothing. I watched that draft in my room by myself. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, yeah, yes, for
Just
real, for real, for real.
with like going crazy. I remember mom's was in her room in the room behind me basically and checking in on me periodically. You know what I'm saying? I remember I was in the room, basketball shorts, my shirt off. You know what I'm saying? Like leaned in front, just watching the TV. You know what I'm saying? And they made that last pick, and my name hadn't gotten picked. So I'm like, what now? Waiting for a call. You know what I'm saying? What now? Waiting for a call. What now? Waiting for a call. You know what I'm saying? No call comes. Basically, they kind of just were done with me. You know what I'm saying? I didn't talk to
Wow.
anybody after that. Yeah, they were kind of giving word to Sam, who was the cat I was telling you that was bringing me back and forth to Fairfax. He was kind of like my middleman. They were giving word to him that there was nothing. They set me up with with a a workout for Japan that actually Shea was at too.
Mm-hmm.
He was the other guy that they were looking at, and we did the workout and stuff like that. And I remember leaving there feeling like, okay, I might go overseas. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right, right,
but
right, right,
again,
right,
once
right.
again, they kind of just left me in the dust. You know what I mean? And as I'm working out, trying to do other things and this and that, I end up blowing out my other knee. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry.
Oh man.
I actually I went to I played in the D League before that. I played for
Mm-hmm,
Sioux
mm-hmm.
Falls Skyforce. Went over there. I actually before that I went to Houston and spent some time with oh man, that Houston Jesus. John Lucas. John Lucas runs
Ah, yeah, yeah.
he basically runs a camp out there during the summertime. And bro, that was culture shock. You know what I'm saying? Like I played a lot of basketball against a lot of cats growing up, like from a lot of different places, but playing hooping with the cats from the South in this little in his camp, bro, they get down. I'm talking about they get down. I was going through all my NBA stuff with J.R. Smith. He was one of the other guys. Him and Andre Emmett. So he was the other cat too. It was us four that we all had the same agency, so they would send us to go do these workouts. And watching Jr. play in Houston, well, I thought he would be in the Hall of Fame by now. You know what I'm saying? Like I swear to God, it was crazy. It was crazy. But hooping out there with John Lucas is what got me the spot to play in the D League. And while I was in the D League, they had me in South Dakota, in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And I just couldn't my knees being in that cold, my knees just couldn't get right, bro. Like it was crazy. I'd have good days and I'd have bad days. And in the D League, you can't have good and bad days. You gotta have good days. You know what I'm saying? If you want to get
Yeah.
paid, you gotta have those good days. I was on an A contract too, so I couldn't I couldn't I had no room to mess up. And once
Right.
my knees started blowing up and I had to sit down and miss practices and stuff, they were just like, man, we can't hold on to you. So they had to let me go. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
that was the last professional hoop that I played.
So how many was that a year out of college or a couple years or how what was that?
That was actually a couple years out of college because, like I said, going back and forth, taking some time with my knee, it was just bad
Mm.
timing every single time. It was bad timing, and then once I finally got out to Houston, then I got the ball rolling and jumped on that squad quick. So what that was, I want to say that was '06 or '07 or something like that
Yeah,
was
yeah,
the last time I
yeah.
hooped.
Yeah. Now the funny thing about
Hmm.
that is like, at the end of my career, it was kind of like that. I remember I had stress fractures in both my shins, so I have steel plates in both of my shins. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it took me a
Yeah.
year to get back. So every team that would bring me in that year, I was out of shape, like for their standards.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like I went to
Mm.
France. I played with Tony Parker's brother, little brother, and like I
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
I wasn't right. I wasn't right. And like I just couldn't get
That's
back.
It's the worst too. That's the worst
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you seeing. I know it's your team and everything, but you seeing other cats on that squad that you're like, man, you're dinner, bro. I'll eat
Right,
you up,
right.
but
No, like
they
seriously.
got to give you these minutes because I got these. I got these screws in.
Yeah. No, seriously, like it took me a whole year to get back. And like the only like it was I went to Romania and that was the only time like the team like they let me stay the whole preseason, you know what I'm saying, get in shape with them. Like we was working out at the
Oh wow.
track, doing all this stuff. Yeah, Romania was off the chain, like as far as like preseason stuff. Like we was basically, I don't know, like a month of like working out, doing jump roping and going to track and running track, like all this
Yeah,
stuff. It was like,
damn.
yeah, it was like,
I was in super shape.
yeah. So like for me,
Yeah.
if I would have been hooping and already in shape, I'm like, man, F this. But
Yeah.
since I needed it to get back,
Yep.
and even when they released me, I was like, I'm in shape now. So I immediately went to Estonia and finish out the year. You know what I'm saying? I ended up playing another couple years after that. But yeah, man, like I understand how you feel with with your legs and your shins and stuff like that. So, after obviously you stop hooping, what's your mindset of like what next to do?
I got to figure out how to try to be a millionaire without being a millionaire because I was
Yeah.
expecting that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
of
I
course.
mean, honestly, it's just that's it. Trying to find your way. Being that young, I had fun for a minute. You know what I mean? Like I was going back and forth from San Diego to LA. You know what I'm saying? And in San Diego, still being Evan Burns out there. You know what I'm saying? Coming back, and I was actually going up and hooping up at UCLA and still working out and doing stuff like that, but just getting like jobs here and there, not and it kind of just fell off until I was done with that, and I hit up Marvin Menzies, that coach that I was telling you about. Hit him up, and at this time he was head coach over at New Mexico State. So I hit
Mm,
him up, told him I just wasn't feeling where I was at. You know what I mean? And once again, he jumped on the ball and got me out there and put me on the coaching staff. You know what I'm saying? And went out there for 2 years and won 2 conference championships with him. Went to the NCAA tournament twice with him. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, he ended up getting the job over at UNLV.
mm,
And with the staff, I came out to UNLV, ended up having my son out here, you know what I mean? And then unfortunately, he lost the spot. But my son is from Las Vegas, his
mm.
mother is out here too. So, that's where I'm at. I would love to get back into the journey, you know what I'm saying? I would love to get back on the staff somewhere, but I want to wait till my boy is a little bit older because right now he's just too young to be away from that long for me. You know
No,
what
of
I'm
course,
saying?
of course. So, hey, I get it, man. I get it. It was
Yeah.
I saw my son be born on Skype, like,
Yeah. See.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I
And
was in Romania, like,
I,
oh,
wow. That's crazy.
yes.
Yeah. I don't know how you guys do that, man. I think about that too. Like, I definitely think about, the fact that how I have my son and I'm right here with him and stuff like that. Like, it wouldn't have been like that hooping. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have been able to have some of these early experiences I do with my boy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
so I give y'all mad credit for that because that's even tough for me to think about.
No, no. My son's first 3 years, I was gone pretty much. Like
Yeah, that's tough.
I would come back like for segments, obviously, but
Yeah,
I
yep,
was
yep,
gone, 8, 9, 10 months. And then
yeah.
at that time I was doubling up, so I would play 8 months in Germany and then come back and then go to Australia for like 4 months and then
Yeah,
do
the three, yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
those quick sessions.
And then
Yeah,
3 weeks
yeah,
and then go back. Yeah. So
yep.
no, but like obviously, yeah, you make that transition, you know what I'm saying? And like had success in your, so much success in your ball career, but like you still have a ways to go to figure out what your next
Hmm.
thing is, which is good. I think with the journey of us athletes, it's always like good to have, what I'm saying, like now that you have experience as a coach, you can always come back to that, like, oh yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
you know what I'm saying? So that's a good thing. And like I said, I think you're gonna do it. You're gonna be up at Duke or North Carolina, some coaching. I'm gonna see you at the head coach.
That I mean,
So,
it's crazy too because I'm watching these teams too now, man, and it's some cat like Sean May is the assistant coach over at North Carolina. He played in the McDonald's game with me. You know what I'm saying? I want to say Jared Dudley is on one of the
yep.
staff. I think he's on Phoenix's staff now, and it's crazy to just see these cats that I came up hooping with. Now they're
Yeah,
now they're
no, no,
coaching
no,
on the
definitely,
big
definitely.
level. You know what I mean?
That's how I see it. I mean,
Crazy.
Earl been coaching for years now. Earl, my boy Earl Watson, and
Forever, right?
yeah, and Rico,
Yeah.
both him and Rico Hines,
You
both.
know,
I have another
that's crazy
home.
because Rico actually took over my boy Pascal Siakam was my boy
Yep.
at New Mexico State, and then once he got to the league, he was with Rico. You know what I mean? And it's like it's always that it's always that LA connection somehow, man. 6 degrees
Yep.
of
Yep.
separation
All
always.
right. Well, like I said, bro, I appreciate your journey. I appreciate you coming on the show, man. And this
No
is my
doubt, no
last.
doubt. I appreciate you having me for
Oh, no
sure.
problem, no problem. Got one last question for you.
Yes, sir.
Like saying, like we always ask our guests at the end. Just pretty much at one point in our career, or our life, we all go through like super low points. You know what I'm saying? And I want to know, like, to get you out of your super low point to where you're at now, to see what you're doing. Um, how did you get out of it? You know what I'm saying? Because I think a lot of people try to figure out how to get out of those low points because we need to, you know what I'm saying, we need to get out of it. For me, it was like family and
Yeah.
God. For yourself, was it God? Was it family? Was it all the above? Was it your son? What was it?
Well, it's definitely family, 100%. You know what I mean? If I didn't have anybody around me, I'd be miserable every day. You know what I'm saying? But but also with me too, though, like I've been able to and been blessed to still be able to sprinkle and be around basketball. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like an AA meeting. You know what I mean? I get to go introduce myself, and tell them I'm addicted to basketball, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So I still get to see it. I still get to smell it. Like I know it sounds weird, but I still get to hear it and be around it. So that honestly for me that definitely helps. And I know it's cliche, you love basketball, but not everybody loves hoop. Not every hooper loves basketball. You know what I'm saying? So me,
Mhm.
I truly love the game. So that it's been easier to accept the coaching role than being a player role. That was a really difficult transition. You know what I mean? To have to separate myself from being on the coaching staff as opposed to the team. Like I can't go to this party with these guys. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm here. I'm the one that they got to call if something is up. I got to come get them and pick them up, or you know what I'm saying? Like
Agreed,
that kind of
agreed,
thing. So
agreed, agreed.
that the fact that I'm still around it though definitely helps out. But family, 100%. And honestly, just trying to find a vibe, find another niche in this world. Like I love music. My sister does music, so that's always something that gets our juices flowing. You know what I'm saying? Like just finding a niche. This world is beautiful, so there is things outside of basketball, but if you can still be around it and touch it, it makes it a little bit easier for sure.
Oh, trust me, bro. Like for me, this is, it was weird because like when I started to do this, it was more therapeutic than anything to kind of like get thoughts and all that stuff out of like ball, and not only just from ball, but like all sports, all ways of life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like it's this is, like I said, this show for me anyway has been a blessing. So I get to hear stories like yourself, like other people's, just
Yep.
like, I'm not the only one feeling that way. All right.
Oh, not
Well,
at all.
yeah, no, so definitely appreciate you.
All
Please,
day,
you know what
man.
I'm
All
saying?
day.
Like shot your, your Instagram, Facebook, whatever you have, if you want.
Yeah, I want to send my Instagram. I'm not huge on social media. I dabble and dabble at it. You know what I'm saying? Most of my stuff is basketball or sports related, but my Instagram is EB21. I want to say, or E_Burns 21 is my Instagram. And then I'm just Evan Burns on Facebook. Come holler at me. Catch up with me. Any LA hoopers that I used to hoop against or you used to hoop with or whatever that I ain't talked to in forever, man, holla. It's all love. It's a brotherhood. You know what I'm saying?
It
Especially
is.
that LA, man. LA,
LA
it's
is
crazy. I
it's
could
weird. It's big, but it ain't that
it
big.
it is, man. It
Yeah,
exactly. Like right now I'm actually I follow my man Keith Kloss. Keith Kloss
yeah,
is
that's
in
my big brother. Everybody calls us
bro,
brothers. Everybody calls us brothers.
bro,
So.
he's doing so good right now. It is, and that's another thing too, to see my guys that, that that fell off for a second, but are back and doing their thing, and it's with basketball. Man, that warms my heart. My man is doing good, man. To keep, if you watching this, bro, much love to you, man. Keep doing your thing, bro. Keep doing it.
Definitely. And like I said, you can follow me at Travis W. Reed on Instagram. That's REED, Travis W. And on Facebook, Travis W. Reed. I post most of my stuff on social media. I got my link tree on my Instagram page. And if you're still looking for that Athlete's Journey merch, feel free to DM me. And like I said, on Instagram or message me on Facebook. Still got, Athlete's Journey merch and, other merch still coming soon. And if you only, like I said, if you're on LinkedIn, you can follow me. If any athletes is interested, like, book clubs, like what former athletes do, I have my own book club, on LinkedIn. It's open to the public. So like I said, yeah. So yeah, I like to read now. That's one of my hobbies. So I got a bunch of different stuff going, and we're gonna continuing Athlete's Journey, man. Like I said, I appreciate E for coming on to the show, and we're gonna see y'all later. Peace.
No